This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
We couldn't have wished for a better final, Bill. It's a tremendous climax to a good season for the National League. 6 seconds. Pass. Victor! Wow, what a finish.
Carfino goes for it. And puts it in the hole.
Will they go for three? Copeland! He makes the shot! Unbelievable! This is grand theft basketball. Look at the Gaze family. Lindsay and Andrew. Andrew just tears streaming down the face. Sydney Kings with an unprecedented three-peat have become sporting royalty.
Good night, Perth.
Absolute scene.
That's how you go upstairs and finish. Keep it going.
NBL 24. Everything starts again. You know the names. Golding.
Surely not. An impossible three.
Creek.
Phoenix have got a huge problem. Here might be the answer.
Cotton.
He's so good. It's ridiculous.
McDowell White.
Down White continuing to do whatever he likes.
Now introducing the class of 24. Ready to take over. Zikarsky. Flowers. Saar. Clintman. Johnson. Huckporty. Tui. Rube Stavagers. This season, every moment matters. Welcome to NBL 24.
NBL 24 tips off in ideal fashion. An opener for the ages. Throwdown 21. In the words of Mitch Creek, it's where the real players play. Two teams claiming one stadium. The ingredients for an epic rivalry. So whose house is it? This one was sold out 9 days in advance. 10,000 packing John Cain Arena. Amongst them, legends of the game. That's right, six-time NBA champ Scottie Pippen is in the house, and he'll be joining our team on commentary. Superstars everywhere you look as the NBL captures the attention of the world. Throwdown 21, it's on. Hello and welcome to John Cain Arena. Great to have your company as we kick off season NBL 24. I'm Nerily Meadows. I've got Hall of Famer Andrew Gaze alongside me. Liam Santamaria, who is right across everything that's been going on in the NBL Blitz and leading up to this really exciting season. And I've got to say, we're looking at a really even season heading in. And what a way to start, Casey.
Oh, Nerily, this is spectacular. Full house here in Melbourne, a local derby. And it's hard not to cast your mind back to when we used to play and the competitive juices start kicking in. The smell of popcorn, the atmosphere, the expectation from the fans. This place is absolutely buzzing. And why wouldn't it be with the depth of talent that we have on display here in the NBL, highlighted by two teams that have gotten a lot better from what we saw last season.
No, you bang on, Drewy. It's going to be a massive season, guys. It's going to be a massive way to tip off the season. You've got the crosstown rivals, you got the sold-out John Cain Arena. Big night ahead. And
I love the fact that we're right in amongst it, live on coverage as well. We've got Chris Golding warming up, running in right in front of us, and Southeast Melbourne Phoenix captain Mitch Creek joining us live in studio on the court. Creaky, thanks so much for joining us so close to game time. I want to ask you about the rivalry to start with. It is real, isn't it? You don't like each other.
I think Gazy's one to say the same thing. None of us really like each other when it comes to playing. Off court, we're all fine, but it's the Melbourne dominance right now. You know, there's no little brother, there's no big brother. We're just two teams with the same home court, and we both want to win.
Creaky, you got a couple of guys out in Gary Brown and Alan Williams, but let's talk about who you've got in. Tyler Cook in the middle. What can we expect from him?
I mean, you've seen him in the preseason. He's been phenomenal. Athletically, he's a gift from God for us. A little different as Source, same physique, but can jump over a house. He plays both sides of the court, defends really well, but he just complements what we're trying to do on a very high level.
This Melbourne United team, they've upped from what they had last season. A lot of local talent in it. Matty Dellavedova, he's back in the competition. You did a little number on him a couple of seasons ago. A little bit of argy-bargy the last time you guys met, but he is going to be a focal point, particularly with what we've seen in the pre-season in the offense that he's bringing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, obviously Delhi missing out on that World Cup. I thought he should have been in there, and I think he's making a point to everyone saying, I deserve to be in there, I deserve to be there for the Olympics, and so far he's done a great job of showcasing that. You know, it's always nice seeing someone succeed, you know, against other teams, but hopefully not against us tonight.
I've got to say, is that the same to be said for you, Creaky? Do you have that fire in your belly as well after missing out on the World Cup?
I always want to play for Australia. It's always my dream. I wake up every day hoping one day I get my name called again, you know, Creek on an Australian jersey. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm proud to be out here with the Phoenix running up and down.
It's fantastic to have you as part of the commentary team, live and exclusive as well at the moment. It is an interesting time for Phoenix. New coach, you've got Mike Kelly at the helm. What has he brought to this outfit and heading into such an important season?
I mean, there's a lot of things he has brought. A chiseled jawline is probably the #1 thing for us. He's brought the looks that we don't really have. Some of us are a little bit rough around the edges, but he's been fantastic. He's settled in straight away with the team. He's absolutely transitioned us from what we were to what we can become. So excited to have him a part of the team and what we can do this season together.
Big one to start the season. What are the big boxes you guys want ticked tonight to kick off your year?
I just think we need to set a tone, picking up the ball early in transition on defense and then getting basket covered, no transitional play. If we do that, we keep them probably 30% of their offense in the preseason has been in transition. So if we keep a little wrap on that, hopefully we can slow down guys like Chris Goulding, Huck Porty, and obviously the guards.
We love the defence, and we all know that that's a very important to the game. But with Mike Kelly at the helm, offensively, are we going to see anything significantly different to what you've been over the last couple of seasons?
I think over the last few years, we've been one of the leading teams in points per possession, offensive output. So I think that's always going to be there for us, especially with who we have this year, Will Cummings, Reece Vague, you know, guys from other teams bringing different punches for us. But for right now, we're trying to focus on defense. I know it's a hard concept to grasp, but we're getting there.
I love it. No better way to start the season than a big win over your arch rivals, no doubt. Thank you very much for your time. All the best.
Good luck, Creaky.
Well, a former teammate of Mitch Creek's is Ryan Brockhoff. What better person to talk about Phoenix and their hopes this season and tonight as well, up against Melbourne United. He's alongside Jack Hebron. Jack, welcome.
Thank you, Nez. Great to be here. Good to have you on our team this time around, Rowdy, instead of playing. This time last year, this was your team. You understand South East Melbourne better than anyone. The big question coming in, though, is the concerns around the preparation. Injuries, national duties. How worried should they be tonight?
Yeah, it's great to be part of the team. And look, getting out of the car, I almost grabbed the basketball shoes. I was like, I'm going into a throwdown. How good's this? But it's awesome to be part of the team. Look, the inconsistency of playing time, guys being injured, national team, it's got to affect them somehow. I know Mike Kelly's going to do a really good job getting them organised. He wasn't happy with their defence during the blitz. That's obviously been a focus leading into game one. But here we go, let's see.
So we're seeing the depth chart at the moment. A lot of it hinges around Mitch Creek, no question about that. But the decision to bring Gary Brown back, he won't be playing tonight. He and Will Cummings together, 2 point guards in the same lineup. How does that work?
Oh, I think it unlocks him offensively. It takes some of the pressure off Creek. He's obviously the star of the team. He's going to put up points, he's going to get his shots, but being able to spread the load, I think that's what was missing last season, is sort of finding the extra scorers. So with two guys who can facilitate, score for themselves and create for others, it makes a nice triple tandem.
Well, no doubt about it. The biggest name on that depth chart is Mitch Creek. He's one of the biggest players here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's very much his team, and it feels like tonight is a Mitch Creek sort of night.
He lives for these games. This is what he prepares himself for. He loves a throwdown, as he sort of said. He's here to win, he's here to perform. There's no little brother for the Phoenix anymore. We see ourselves, they see ourselves, so you even get fallen back into it as peers. So he's in for a big performance tonight.
So unfortunately, while we do have Mitch Creek, the unfortunate side of things is Alan Williams, who won't be playing tonight for the South East Melbourne Phoenix. He is a big loss. He was a big part of the Phoenix campaign. He's out with a knee injury at the moment. What it did do, though, without Alan Williams, it allowed South East Melbourne to go shopping, and they went straight to the top shelf. With Alan Williams not playing, they went to Tyler Cook, a man from the NBA as recently as 2 years ago. Gee, looks good.
He looked fantastic. He, obviously MVP of the Blitz, had an amazing start, and it's unusual for imports to come in fresh off the plane, no preparation, jump straight into games to be able to pick up on the physicality of the NBL, the refereeing, staying out of foul trouble, but he looked incredible from day one. So although the Phoenix will miss Source and looking forward to getting him back, Cook's a nice replacement to have.
And obvious statement with Tyler Cook, but they really need him right now, don't they, with all of the injuries that they've got?
Yeah, with Gary Brown not playing as well, it takes another scoring option, another creator. So someone you can throw the ball to. You saw him at the Blitz playing from that high post area, being able to use his speed, his size and athleticism to just cause absolute mayhem on the rim.
Well, it's great to have you on our team, Rowdy, and we look forward to hearing from you all season long. Nez, I guess the big question here for South East Melbourne, with no Joe Luala-Chul, is this the opportunity for them to get on top through Tyler Cook?
Absolutely, and JLA, we're hoping that he'll be back around mid-November, so he's ahead of schedule. That's what Melbourne United are saying at the moment. But Liam, what an opportunity and a moment for Hook Porty to step up. He missed all of last season after rupturing his Achilles, but I'm told he's really improved in the training. He can even jump higher than he did before, put in all the effort. A big opportunity for a young man.
He looks amazing. Watching him at the Blitz on the Gold Coast in the pre-season, you can see physically he's feeling good, he's looking good. I think he's in for a massive season. Now, he's got a tough matchup today with Tyler Cook, who we know is going to come in and get some things done. But Ariel Hook Porty, in his third year as a Next Star, especially in these first 3 or 4 weeks, Drewy, is going to be big.
No, it's huge, and this is a young fella that's missed 12 months of basketball. That builds up a lot of anxiety, and how he plays and is able to have that mature approach to it all, to let the game come to him. He knows that his goal is to get to the NBA. So you've got to be patient, work within the system that Dean Vickerman's building around him. We saw him in that first season, average about 15 minutes a game. I think that'll grow as this season comes along. He's still got to go through his ups and downs as a very young player. But I like what I see, Liam. I thought he was a very good prospect a couple of seasons ago. So I think that if he builds on that, you're looking at a player that's going to have an NBA jersey on very, very soon.
Big future ahead for that man. Cannot wait to see him in action tonight in Throwdown 21. Let's take a look at the depth chart for Melbourne United, and Dean Vickerman puffing the chest out there. We love to see it, and why wouldn't he? He's one of the best coaches in the competition. Gazy, when I look at those names, I see a lot of depth.
This is an embarrassment of riches, and the biggest one, the picture of the man on the right there, Dean Vickerman, he's going to have his work cut out for him, making sure that he keeps everyone happy, because there's a lot of guys that deserve minutes. Some players are going to have to sacrifice, but I like the way that he's gone with a lot of Australian talent, a local talent, and I like the balance that he's got between new, young, emerging stars, along with those cagey veterans like Chris Golding and even Brad Newley running around for another season. He can still come off the bench and give some a lot of experience. And that man there, Luke Travers, he is a star in the making, but really excited to see Matthew Dellavedova. He looks in shape. He has got muscles on muscles, and he looks like there's a different look about him. And we saw in the Blitz, he's shooting the ball.
We'll talk about Delly shortly, but that man Chris Golding, the captain for Melbourne United, he's had a really interesting off-season. He did really well last year in NBL23. Since then, he's played in Paris. He had the World Cup opportunity, limited minutes. In the NBL Blitz, he had a scoreless game and then a 20-point game. What do you think his mindset is heading into tonight, back at home, big game?
He's looking to come out and have a Chris Golding type performance. Don't worry about the pre-season for a guy like this who has so much experience. He's coming off back-to-back years in the All-NBL second team. 17 points a game last year, shooting the ball at a really high clip. And Drewy, he gets up for big games.
Oh, he certainly does, and particularly against Phoenix. Of all the teams, the average is more against the Phoenix than any other team. He loves this arena. He loves making a statement for Melbourne United against their crosstown rivals, and he's got a swagger about him that very early days, but there is a swagger and a look in his eye that he's about to try and make up for perhaps a lack of minutes with the Australian team. Would it be burning inside of him? And he's out there also trying to make his way into that Paris Olympic Games team.
And just quietly, that steely look in his eyes was actually directed at Andrew Gaze as he was talking about him just a couple of metres over there. So we are right in the thick of it here in John Cain Arena. Gazy mentioned Matthew. That'll be in the pit of his stomach, but we saw in the NBL Blitz, he's playing a little more offensively. Do you expect to see that as a trend this season?
Yeah, I think so. Dean Vickerman likes aggressive Matthew Dellavedova. He wants him to be like he was at St Mary's, where he's trying to score. So punish the defense for slipping under, step up and knock down the three, and then you can get to your float game. He looks fantastic. He said he's eating steak, he's getting sunshine, and he's in for a big season.
Oh, we love Matthew Dellavedova all pumped up, and he caught up with a former Boomer teammate in Ryan Brockhoff.
Delly, great to have you back in the NBL. Welcome back. And what a way to come back with your performances at the Blitz. Body's in good nick, confidence is sky high. Tell us about what's changed during the off-season.
Appreciate it, Rowdy. Good to see you. Making sure you got your media hat on, not your Phoenix hat on. I've just been working hard. Altered a few things with my diet, eating way more steak, trying to get a lot of sun, grounding, just looking to keep improving, and had a good run the last couple of years, being healthy, so that always helps.
And your offensive mentality, being very aggressive, coming off looking to shoot. You've always been a player who can score the ball well, but that's not always been option number one. What's changed that in that respect?
I've been working really hard on that as well. I think the game's changed since I grew up playing where the point guard was a bit more of a facilitator. So, I've been trying to work on my shooting off the dribble, and then, it opens up the passing lanes more and more.
Yeah, and stars are out here tonight. Big game, Throwdown to start the season. What is the thoughts in the locker room, and how's the projections for the season?
We're looking forward to it. It's always going to be an intense rivalry game, packed house. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, well, good luck tonight, mate. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Appreciate it, Rowdy.
Thanks, guys. Back to you.
A couple of champs chatting to each other. Great insights ahead of Throwdown 21. Will Matthew Dellavedova be back to his very best? John Cain Arena, it's going to be a packed house. 10,000 here for this huge game. Don't go anywhere. We've got live action not far away.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
Craig
sir.
took a
yes,
body.
Sir.
Myers for Pippen.
Oh, a faithful Scottie Pippen in the face of Patrick Ewing, who did not appreciate it.
An epic moment from Throwdown 13 where Mitch Creek dunked on Matthew Dellavedova, and then Scottie Pippen, who is in John Cain Arena tonight. And great news is he'll be joining our coverage, our commentary team in the third quarter of this one between Melbourne United and South East Melbourne Phoenix. Gazy, six-time NBA champion, is joining the team.
Well, he's a freak. He was a part of what many people, arguably the greatest team in the history of the sport, playing alongside Michael Jordan. 6 NBA titles, and the great man himself, the greatest of all time. I know there's a bit of a debate, but the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, regards Scottie Pippen as his greatest teammate. And it's clear to me that Michael Jordan is not as good as Michael Jordan was without having someone like Scottie Pippen right by his side. An elite defender, explosive athlete, a superstar, and is in the building, which makes this game even more special.
So how do you feel if you're the young guys playing in front of him? What an incredible opportunity. But we need to talk about a couple of the important recruits for both of these teams. Will Cummings, who's won MVPs right across Europe. He's a star American guard coming in. How do you think he's going to go? What do you want to see from him?
Well, he's going to need to be big tonight, Nerily, with Gary Brown out. You're right, he has had a storied career in Europe. Really, no, he didn't play in the Euro League, but he did everything else. He was MVP of the German League, he was MVP of the French League, he played across 5 different countries across Europe and put up big numbers. Last year in China, and the Phoenix are hoping he can come in and put points on the board. Gary Brown will set the table throughout the year. Creek and Williams will do their thing, but they want Will Cummings to come out and have a big impact.
And locally, Luke Travers, he spent the first 4 years of his NBL career at the Perth Wildcats. He's going to get that opportunity to the Cavs in the NBA, but now he finds himself at Melbourne United. This is his first throwdown, an incredible opportunity, and he's put it out there, Gazy, that he wants to see himself as the Xavier Cooks of this team.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to hear, Nerily, but I'm pretty sure we're talking about Luke Travers.
We are.
He is a star in the making, and we saw the growth of him at Summer League more recently. The question mark about him has been his perimeter shooting. Last season, he ended up shooting it near enough to 40% from the three-point line. When he's wide open, he can knock down the shot. He's an explosive athlete, runs the floor, and one of the greatest assets for him outside of what we see on this pitch of what he can do on the offensive end and use that incredible athleticism. I think he's also a very versatile defender. He can defend virtually 1 through 5 because of his strength around the basket, certainly in this league. So Melbourne United have invested heavily in him, and I think that he is going to play a big, big role in the success and how far Melbourne can go.
Yeah, Melbourne's invested heavily in him. He's invested heavily in Melbourne United as well. It's a big year for Luke Travers, trying to take that next step. He's moved away from the comforts of home, and he's trying to become a star of the league.
Well, let's have a listen to some of the introductions for Melbourne United here, because there's a wonderful atmosphere. 10,000 in the house, a home crowd. Let's just check in momentarily and to soak up some of this atmosphere.
The young gun, number 4, Brad Dooley. Number 8 makes some noise for Matty Dellavedova. Give it up for number 9, Malik Marshall. Tin, it's Flynn Cameron. 2K is in the house. Number 13, Tanner Perez.
Fantastic atmosphere here. 10,000 in the house. It's sold out 9 days in advance, and you're starting to see the depth that this Melbourne United team has, Liam. They missed out in the postseason last season. They are fired up. They want to bounce back big time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a team built to win the title year after year. So it was disappointing for Melbourne United last season. This is not an organisation that wants to miss the playoffs. Look, none do, but this is a big membership base, a big fan base. They're built for success, and Drewy, they've got a roster this year that is primed for bouncing back.
It is, and Shea Ewley's going to play a big part of that. We saw last season how Melbourne United functioned when he wasn't there, and it wasn't good. But Shea Ewley, we saw him recently at the World Cup playing for New Zealand, averaging 14 points a game, one of the leading assist getters in the entire tournament, and he looks fantastic. Let's hope that Shea Illy can stay healthy, because he is a fun guy to play alongside, because he can find you. And over the last 4 or 5 years, he's developed an offensive game where you've got to respect him on the perimeter as well.
And just fantastic right here, right in amongst it. Chris Golding right behind us as South East Melbourne Phoenix are about to get introduced. And as we know, we've got the whole villain situation going on because it's a throwdown, but it's Melbourne United's home ground, home court advantage tonight. And once again, they managed to do okay in the end, but they wanted to go further. They wanted to advance, and they've got some issues coming into this one, a few injuries as well. So they'll be hoping to bounce back in a big way and come against that adversity and lift. But right now, let's hear the national anthem.
And Australians all let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and welfare tall. Our home is goodbye. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strengths, and let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
Fantastic stuff. Scottie Pippen in the house. A reminder, he will be joining us on commentary for the third quarter. So no matter what happens, you've got something to look forward to in this one. It's going to be huge. Throwdown 21, live action not far away. Don't go anywhere. We're courtside.
NBL 24 is back, and there is simply no better way to start an NBL season than with a throwdown. Melbourne against South East Melbourne. The city is abuzz for footy reasons, but I tell you what, this joint is sold out, John Cain Arena, and I cannot wait. Scottie Pippen's in the house, Luke Longley's in the house, LaMarcus Aldridge is there too. This will be an absolute cracker. I don't know who's going to win the game, so let's take either team 7 or less, and the Sportsbet Same Game Multi involves Mitch Creek and Luke Travers in what will be an absolute beauty. Enjoy the game, the Phoenix and United.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
by their captain.
Chris Golding, what a hit!
Back with some familiar faces.
Brilliant from Dellavedova. If you don't mind.
Southeast Melbourne.
Creek pulls up.
Led by Mitch Creek.
Bang! Brown with all the tricks. Got it.
These underdogs are ready to rise. Tonight, old friends, new faces, different colours, new heroes, same legends.
Big time hit.
Don't do it like that. Don't do him like that.
Throwdown 21. Every shot, every loose ball, every dunk, every moment matters. Welcome to NBL 24.
Throwdown 21 live in a packed John Cain Arena. 10,000 people, including some Chicago Bulls legends, if you don't mind. Scottie Pippen, 6-time NBA champion, alongside his former Bulls teammate in Luke Longley, sitting courtside for this incredibly important clash. You want to start NBL 24 well, and starting with a big win over an arch rival is the perfect way to do it. Andrew Gaze and Ryan Brockhoff alongside me live on the coverage as we count down to this huge season opener. Ryan, you were with Phoenix this time last year. You know the fire in the belly, the nerves, the feeling, the emotion. How are you feeling right in this moment if you're one of these players?
Hey, I'm feeling that way, and I'm sitting courtside. So, look, the players are excited. They've put in a big pre-season. This is the time, and what a chance. Throw down, first game to start the year, get one up on the rival.
Dean Vickerman, he's not a man that's going to want to miss postseason again. He is a determined man. He's a competitive man. He'll put the fire in their belly.
Yeah, he's a determined man. It's a determined club because they have spared no expense to put this lineup together. It is a very, very deep roster. And Dean Vickerman, he has championship-winning experience. He's a very disciplined coach, and he's going to set the bar really high for these guys. And that man on your screen, Matty Dellavedova, a lot going to be asked of him. I like his shot. I know he's been tinkering with it, and usually when you get to that late 20s, it's time to put the tinkering away. But he's been tinkering with it, and what I've liked, it looks a whole lot smoother than we've seen in the past, and the evidence in the blitz was fantastic about how his shot has improved.
Yeah, and it's not a form you'd probably teach to the kids. It's not what you say textbook form, but it's much better. And he's able to do it the same way consistently. It looks a lot smoother. He's able to get it up in one motion, and it just looks good coming out of his hands. And boy, did he put on a show on the blitz.
We can't all shoot the three ball like you, Ryan. Delly gets it in, that's all that matters, and he's playing a little bit more offensively, so something to look forward to this season. But Phoenix, Ryan, you know this team really well, but it's been a big change. Mike Kelly in charge, you've got Sam McKinnon as well. It's quite the brains trust.
It is, and it's great to have those guys back in the Southeast, finishing after their playing days. Mike Kelly, hard-nosed defensive coach, and that's been one thing about the Phoenix over the years, that since they've been in the league, they can score with everybody, but can they get it done to the defensive end?
Less than 2 minutes until tip-off, so let's head now to Jack Hebron, who'll be leading the call. Throwdown 21, Jack. It's quite the way to kick off the season.
It certainly is, Nez. It's got a big game feel about it, no question about that. And off the top tonight, we want to send a big, big shout out to our man, Corey Homicide Williams Liam. He's not with us at the moment. We've got his jersey here tonight. His jersey's going to be with us all season long, and we're thinking of you, big fella, tonight, and we definitely miss him.
Yeah, well said, Jack. We do. The entire basketball community in Australia feels that way. This is the type of game Corey would just get amped for. So we're thinking of you, big fella.
What about the atmosphere and the feeling tonight? I mean, this is such a, as Nerily said, such a big, big way to open up the season. What would be going through the minds of the players right now, particularly, Liam, for someone like Luke Travers, who has played in front of big crowds before at RAC Arena in front of the Red Army, but even said it this week, really excited to get the chance to play in a game like this.
Yeah, hopefully not too much is going through the minds of these guys right now. You can get caught up in all those types of big picture type of thoughts and feelings, but the reality is you want to focus on the next possession, what it is that Dean Vickerman's drawing up in that huddle. For the Phoenix, they want to focus on getting stops, like Mitch Creek told us about pre-game. Getting back in transition, slowing it down, denying Ariel Hook 40 at the rim, just getting off to a good start.
Let's face it, when we talk about Melbourne United, and Andrew Gaze, you spoke about it in the pre-game tonight, they are a very, very deep and very richly talented basketball team.
Oh, my word, they are. And this is something that no matter how much talent you've got, it's dealing with these first game nerves. That can be a challenge. And once the season settles in, but with the competition so tight, you can't afford to give any head starts to anyone. Both these teams dealing with some injury issues, and you never like that at the very start of the season. You don't like it at any time, but even more disruptive at the start of the season. But one thing Melbourne have done, and I guess based on what they did last season, Liam, is when they ran into some injury issues, they caused them some problems. Well, they've dealt with that with the depth that they've been able to put together.
Here's the starting lineup for the Phoenix. Ben Eyre comes in, the recruit from the Cairns Taipans, with Gary Brown sitting out, and Craig Moller. He's back in the league after a couple of years away in Europe. They're going to need him to play well.
There is Scottie Pippen. He's our special guest for opening night, 6-time NBA champion. He's going to join us in commentary in the third quarter as well. So we're just going to ask you to jump out for a little while, Liam, if that's okay. If you could just step out for us in the third quarter and make way for Scottie Pippen. Here we go. We're underway for NBL 24. It's the Hungry Jacks NBL tip-off. And it's the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix in possession. Defending, I should say, Melbourne United in possession. United winners of the NBL Blitz. Golding unsuccessful with his first attempt, and Craig Moller runs the floor from one end to the other. Ben Eyre in the corner. And an offensive foul against the Phoenix.
Good D from Shea Ili. He's a guy a lot of people think will be in the contention for Defensive Player of the Year, and first defensive possession of the season, he draws a transition chart.
He does, and the matchups here, we see the Phoenix also going with someone a little taller on Chris Golding as well, with Craig Moller coming in, and Ben Eyre got an early look. Unfortunately for him, wasn't able to knock it down. He's going to be important in this one as well.
Shot clock down to 9. Ili from outside. There's a whistle in the act of shooting. And 3 free throws to come for Melbourne.
And that's the kind of threat that you were talking about in the pre-game, Drewy, that Shea Ili has become. Yeah, they give him a tiny little bit of space, but then the strong contest, a little overzealous from Ben Eyre, and he gets to the free throw line.
And I think that's a shot a couple of seasons ago he doesn't look at. Off the bounce, early in the offense, coming off an on-ball, but he sees daylight. And that's also one of the beauties of playing international basketball. What he did with the New Zealand team, as good as he is, it took me by surprise a little. 14 points a game at the World Cup, and dishing out assists in a really competitive team. And just with him, you just hope that with his head issues that he's had in the past, that's the thing that he's going to have to deal with, not just now, but really for the rest of his career.
Only 14 games last year for Shea Ili, Liam. When he played for Melbourne, they were 11-3.
He's a difference maker. And he's become a difference maker at both ends of the floor. So he's huge for this team. A lot of focus on Delhi coming into the start of the year. I think Shea Ili's going to have a really big season.
This is Will Cummings. First night as a Southeast Melbourne player, an offensive weapon.
Well, lane's opened up. And straight to his right hand, gets to the rim, and he's a scorer. And that's a little too easy if you're Dean Vickerman, Melbourne United.
Dellavedova sees that Ben Eyre matchup and likes the look of it. Not that time, though. A little over a minute gone. Throwdown 21 to start the NBL 24 season. And Cummings gets to the line.
It's aggressive from Will Cummings. Yeah, he knows he's got one of the premier defenders in the league guarding him in this first quarter of opening night, and he's trying to get on the attack. Turns the corner, and Drury really initiates the offense. Then Vickerman thought maybe that whistle could have gone the other way.
And I can see what Dean was referring to, because who's making the contact? He draws into it. But when the defense is not in the perfect position, he makes the most of it. Now, this guy here, he has been in some elite national competitions around the world, and not only that, he's won MVPs in Germany and France. He took his team in Greece to a cup championship game, so he's tasted success. It's one thing to put the numbers up, but to do it in successful teams is also an important part of it, and he's certainly been able to do that.
He's got a big role to play tonight for South East Melbourne. No Alan Williams, no Gorjok Gak, no Gary Brown. Craig Moller fouls Chris Golding.
If I miss that, I'm in trouble.
I like the hustle
33.
of Craig Moller, and that's the biggest challenge Craig is going to have is what you do off the bounce, and there we see second personal foul, and they bring in another New Zealand player that was really good, really good at the World Cup. He also averaged 14 points a game and got back to that elite shooting shot at 51% during the World Cup as well.
Golding off the front of the iron. Phoenix by 1. Bumper way to start. NBL 24. Cummings upstairs for Cook.
Well, he's off to a really nice start, Will Cummings. That was a beautiful pass. Turns the corner, reads the defense, and puts it right over the top.
We highlighted Tyler Cook pre-game and what a factor he's going to be. He's a short-term replacement for Alan Williams, but he's a mighty replacement for Alan Williams. Cummings up top. That's off target as well. Luke Travers running the floor, stripped of it. Good hands by Cummings. We're only a couple of minutes in, but the Phoenix have started well.
And there's a bit of nervous energy out here. We've only been going a couple of minutes, but just a few signs of a few fellas taking some deep breaths, and they're all in shape and fit as Mitch Creek down low. And that's one thing you must not do, and that is go away from Mitch Creek. They get him involved on the low block, but there's a few deep breaths out there, and that's more to do with just the emotional fatigue than the physical fatigue.
This time Golding in the corner.
Oh dear.
Misses everything. Very un-Chris Golding-like. Number 1 in the competition for 3 points made last season. Creek got his own rebound. Air tucked away in the corner. That's off as well.
A couple of pretty good looks for good shooters. That nervous energy to start the season on display.
And Melbourne United 0 from 6 to start the game from the field. That's a wild one from Tarangi. And a turnover by the Phoenix.
And he had Tyler Cook running that middle lane, Tarangi, and one thing Cook does well is actually put it on the deck and make plays. And speaking of making plays, that pass from Cummings.
Well, that was
just put it up there on the Harvey Norman replay, and Cook will go get it.
Well, that's right, and I reckon that was more a product from what we saw a couple of plays before. When he gets to the rim, and Hukporty's there, but that time he makes more of a commitment to help, and Cummings good enough to throw it up for the alley-oop.
Travers made something out of nothing and draws a foul on Tyler Cook. So the Phoenix picking up another personal foul. That's 4 with 6 minutes remaining in the first term.
Both teams really aggressive at trying to get to the rim. Seen a couple of perimeter shots from Chris Golding, but the attack on the rim has been good.
Luke Travers, in the eyes of many Perth fans, committed sacrilege. He left the Wildcats and has joined Melbourne United.
It was 4 years at the Wildcats for Travers, and I guess a chance to kind of spread his wings a little bit. Great take from Ben Air. Turning the corner and getting on the attack.
Nobody. 6-point lead to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Travers so hard to stop in that situation. Fast start to this game as Hukporty sends it out of there.
It is, he's a rim protector, and we saw that even when he first came out here. He's got natural instincts around the basket, and have a look, played it beautifully in the right place at the right time where he could still contend with the roll-up, with Cook rolling, but was also able to get a good block shot.
His Cook blows past Hook Porty and is fouled over the back. We saw a lot of Tyler Cook at the Blitz. We spoke about him pre-game. A seriously impressive player.
Yeah, really, really good pickup. You know, you have your starting centre go down, a guy who's going to be a really important piece to your season. How quickly can you find a replacement? And they did it in a matter of a couple of days, and not just a replacement, but a guy who comes in as one of the best players in the league immediately. Ooh.
Yes. Well, certainly from what we've seen in the Blitz, but right now he's played 4.5 minutes, so let's not just get too far ahead of ourselves.
The early signs
a little premature.
Suggest, no, Drew, and that's where he has the advantage on the 5-men in this league, is he's quick, he can put it on the deck, and he can blow by guys.
And it took Andrew Gaze all of about 5 minutes to go all negative Nelly on us.
No, not at all, but we've seen some unbelievable resumes that players have had, and it just takes a little while for them to settle in, but I like what we see here, and there is a lot of contact. Is that going to be a flop warning? I think they're going to give a flop warning on Ben Air.
Let's take a look here.
A little bit of contact. It's always difficult. Ben Air is...
I mean, Delhi's pretty strong right now, Drewy. He dropped that left shoulder. Heavy contact.
Oh, dearie me. There is some talent in the building, not just on the floor. Marcus Aldridge, if you don't mind.
7-time NBA All-Star, over 1,000 games.
Just the 7th.
He's in the house tonight.
He was a bucket. He was Marcus Aldridge, mid-range master. University of Texas, Portland Trailblazers.
Spurs.
Oh, the Spurs. We'll get to the Spurs.
Please.
Cook this time takes that Rob Lowe off the glass with a touch.
That's by design. They see Rob Lowe out there. They want to test his lateral movement.
Nominated injury replacement player, Rob Lowe. With John Lawala-Chul not out there. Ruben Tarangi aggressive to the basket. And the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix lead it by 8.
Well, that's FIBA Tarangi on display right there.
That's right.
Bringing the form from the World Cup to NBL opening night.
Dellavedova with 2 more.
Just got to his spot. And that was a play that normally, if you go back 4 or 5 years, he's getting into the paint looking to distribute. Nowadays, he's going in there and he's looking to score, and there's an off-the-ball screen. Bruce Bay with a little too much contact on Chris Golding.
Subs for both teams. Ben Air, Tyler Cook checks out. Anzac Rosetto checking in for his first minutes.
Wow.
Played just the 5 games last season. Is still a development player with the Phoenix. Coming off a really nice season in the New Zealand National Basketball League, but this is an enormous stage for the 21-year-old.
What is?
Go ahead, Drew.
No, it is. He's a big body, and playing in those tiers below, and that's what Rob Lowe can do. Those on-ball screens, he picks and pops. I still think you got to switch a lot of those, but yeah, he's playing in New Zealand. Got a lot of confidence from that, and clearly Mike Kelly likes what he's seen.
Owen Foxwell played through contact. Rob Lowe and Tanner Krebs knock it out of each other's hands.
And this is where it has the chance to get a little interesting. Here's that pick and pop, no switch, very little well, there's a late switch.
Very late.
Very little communication, and that's what he's done for a long time, Rob Lowe.
And that's just Will Cummings, new player in the competition, just perhaps thinking, oh yeah, you told me you can shoot. And just a little slow and not aggressive enough, and Rob Lowe, the veteran, makes them pay.
Late clock for Tarangi. Basket's waved away. Fouls called on the floor.
Wow.
On the floor. No basket.
I thought he gathered. I thought he'd gathered the ball, picked it. But the officials disagreed. But
Green to go. Green to go.
a lot of substitutions early on for both teams, trying to get the guys in there and get a feel for the new season.
Hungry Jacks NBL tip-off night here at John Cain Arena. Sold out crowd. It has been sold out for a number of weeks. Phoenix who lead by 3. Tanner Krebs blocked the former Bullet. Up top to Flynn Cameron. His first basket as a Melbourne United player, a famous name in this league.
Son of the FIBA Hall of Famer. Pero Cameron, of course, a great Kiwi basketball. And this young man, Flynn Cameron, the left to right cross from Tarani again. He's in a very confident frame of mind. But Flynn Cameron, Drew, this kid, he's going to have a big future in this league.
He is. He's played college basketball, played at very good schools too. Went to DePaul for a little while, and then Riverside. UC Riverside. So he played at that elite level in the college ranks. It is a good part of your development and does prepare you well.
There's Scottie Pippen. He'll be with us in commentary in the third quarter.
Wow.
You got all of your questions organised, Drew?
We've just got some minor technical issues we're going to address, but a lot of preparation that might go unrevealed. But no, he's a star, and what a delight, what a privilege it is to have him here showing support for the NBL.
If we had $1 for every time that Andrew Gay started a sentence, Liam, with "I'm having technical problems,"
That's right.
we'd be loaded.
Issues. No, all good, all good.
And Kyle Bowen also on debut tonight for Melbourne United. Here's Dellavedova for 3.
That's the focus for Daly early in this year. If they're going to slip under, I'm going to pull the trigger.
We saw the way he shot the ball at the NBL Blitz. Basically scored a point for every minute he was out there on the Gold Coast. He's playing with some fire in the belly, no doubt about that. Creek backs into the lane and still finds a way to score.
That's a little welcome to the league. Rookie, get it down on the box, and the veteran just powers his way to the basket. It's such a huge asset when you're around the rim and you can go both left and right.
Shaley responds at the other end. Melbourne United take a 2-point lead, and Mike Kelly wants to have a chat about it. 1:52 remaining in the opening term at Throwdown 21.
Yeah, they're just giving up 3-point looks. Daly there, they slip under the screen. He's hitting the 3-ball right now, and here Illy puts the defense on its heels, steps back. Two guys who haven't been known for 3-point shooting over the course of their career, but are knocking that thing down right now.
It certainly is, and you know, we look at Matty Dellavedova and his shot, but another thing we always got to remember is that this Melbourne United team is playing with one of their megastar in Joe Luala-Chul, and hopefully he'll be back in the rotation real soon, because what he did a couple of seasons ago was very, very special.
Snooze time out right now, the back end of this first quarter. No Joe Luala-Chul tonight for Melbourne United. He does have the headset on for us right now. Joe, first and foremost, we all want to know, everyone wants to know, how are you tracking with your recovery?
It's going pretty well. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's going. So yeah, I'm excited about getting back out there.
Joe, what did you make of the group here in this opening quarter?
They scored a little bit more than what we'd want. Had a few breakdowns, but hopefully we get it sorted now in this timeout.
And what do you see different? You've been away, you've grown as a man, different international experience, but coming back into this team, what's the major difference from this time and compared to last time?
I'd say we're way more talented and deeper, so it'll be interesting to see how I fit into the group and what kind of role that I take up from that standpoint.
Joe, thanks so much for being with us, and we'll see you out there soon.
Thank you, guys.
I reckon they'll find some time for the big fella.
You think they'll find a spot for him?
Yeah. I think he'll get into the rotation.
Yeah, I think they could work him out somewhere. Played in China last season, big signing for Melbourne in the off-season. Craig Moller showing that his game's improved since the last time we saw him.
Well, he shot 40% from 3 in Germany 2 seasons ago. Had the knee injury, sat out all last year. This Daly just fires away from long range once again. So Daly's hit 2 for 2. Shea Illy's hit 1 and then got fouled on the other. They're 5 for 7, Drewy, from long range.
That's that, and we heard about Daly when we saw it in the Blitz, but we're seeing it when it really counts now. And Liam, as I mentioned, in the pre-game show, the thing about it is his stroke is a little better, and that's not easy to do. When you get a little older, you've got a lot of habits that you've got to break, and good on him for the work that he's put in to get himself better.
Let's get over to Nerily Meadows, courtside.
Just listening into Dean Vickerman at that timeout. Pretty calm, I must be said. Early season issues, just getting those switches right, the small things, minimising the confusion in amongst the team. But Dellavedova was also pretty vocal in that timeout, along with the coach. So he's up to 10 points. He's doing it on the court, he's doing it off the court. We see him pointing at the moment and instructing the troops. So Matthew Dellavedova, former NBA champ, back in town, back in business, boys.
We talk about
looks fantastic.
Oh, that's
Drewy.
We talk about the work you do in the gym with your shot.
Yeah.
With Matty Dellavedova, we've also got to acknowledge the work he's done throwing some iron around. I mean, they are some biceps that have been enhanced since the last time we saw him. And again, nothing but respect for a man that's made $1 bazillion playing in the NBA, won an NBA title. He has not rested on his laurels and continued to put the time and effort in to get better.
Meanwhile, as we talk about Delhi, that's 2 fouls now on Shea Illy. As Rob Lowe fires away, can't hit. Will Cummings has drawn both of them. Smart play. He's a physical, intense defender, and Will Cummings has gone straight at him.
Tyler Cook went straight at Rob Lowe, no foul. Out of bounds, Melbourne get the ball back.
Now, a lot of talk about Melbourne United, but it's a one-point ball game. And
he rolled for Melbourne off the bench. That's now 5 points on 2 of 3 shooting. Expands that lead to 3.
See, that's where he's coming off that on-ball screen. He had a free throw, Ben, here that time. He's got to let that first one go. He played with Sandringham in the off-season, and he let it go. He did not hesitate. Averaged 24 a game and other types of shots, but you just see the wheels turning on him, just thinking about that shot too much.
Nice hands by Cummings. Dellavedova's got 2 on the clock to get busy, and get busy he does! Matthew Dellavedova finishes off in impressive style. It's a new version of Delhi. It's an offensively minded Delhi, and he's got 12 in the opening quarter. Melbourne leading at quarter time, 29-24. It's Throwdown 21, and it's the Hungry Jacks NBL tip-off. High energy, high octane first quarter at Throwdown 21. A great way to start off the NBL 24 season. It's Melbourne United who lead 29-24. Matthew Dellavedova, the star of the show in the opening term. 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting.
Yeah, it was something special. We love the way he's aggressive on the offensive end and the way they shot it overall, 50% and 62% from the three-point line. And if you're the Phoenix, you can't give up 29 points. Very, very difficult to win if you're going to give up 29 a quarter. And they need to up the intensity on the defensive end because Melbourne United are white hot.
It's Luke Travis swats that one out of the air. That's the big worry for the Phoenix, Liam. They gave up 98.5 points in their 2 losses at the Blitz. They only allowed 86 when they beat the Sydney Kings, but some concerns at that end of the floor, no doubt.
Yeah, it's all about the defense for the Phoenix this year. They've got a lot of talent. They're going to put points on the board. And to be honest, that's been the story of their existence in the league thus far as Cummings falls short on that one. I didn't actually mind a lot of the defense in that first term. They dominated the glass. I just thought Melbourne United just shot the heck out of the ball. And the challenge will be to see if they continue to do that.
Structurally, you know, they had to tidy up their switches, which we heard Mike Kelly talking about, but it comes down to the intensity. You can have your right system in place, but you've got to be the intensity like the attack on the rim. I'm not sure that's going to count. You can't hang on the ring, big fella.
Ball comes up to held. That's a basket. It's an offensive basket. Someone under it. Basket. Have to protect himself.
No, and no, Dean.
The basket went in.
There's Archie Thompson, an Australian soccer legend in the crowd. Big Melbourne United man as well, Archie Thompson. We talk about the next stars, Liam, and obviously you're the man now that runs the show as far as the next stars are concerned. Ariel Hook-Porty, returning from an Achilles injury, which he missed all of last season, looks in fantastic shape. As Moller can't score.
Oh, he's ripe and ready to go, Hook-Porty. He's so quick running from rim to rim. Got the seal down low on Moller right now. They need to give him the ball.
Illy playing with a couple of fouls. Here's Ariel Hook-Porty, now 21 years of age.
Yeah, he's in for a big season, and I tell you, well and truly still on NBA radars. You know, NBA teams at the Blitz were really impressed with what they saw. That, you know, he's obviously always been an elite prospect, and they're really keen to see what kind of year he has in NBL 24.
Well, he's another one. You look at his body; it looks like he's done some work while he's been injured.
The 8 next stars in the NBL this season. Dellavedova attracting attention. It's a late whistle. The 2 free throws to come for Hook-Porty.
White bar on his arm.
Second personal foul as Marcus Aldridge watches on, takes it in. That's 2 fouls on Tyler Cook now. So Moller's got 2, Cook's got 2. Of course, Shea Illy's got similar type of issues for Melbourne United. But if you're Melbourne United right now, go at Tyler Cook, go back to Ariel Hook-Porty and ask some questions of him around the rim.
Oh, that's true. But I think if you're Phoenix, I know it's early in the second quarter, but right now, get a sense that it's a pretty pivotal time for Phoenix. They're struggling on the offensive end to keep that scoreboard ticking over. And there's been some good looks by Melbourne United. So I think Mike Kelly's going to have to stick with him and just see how the big fella can play through this situation and use his basketball IQ to try and stay out of foul trouble.
Let's get over to Nerily Meadows.
Just to add to your point on Hook-Porty, he's really turned a negative into a positive. Testing has actually shown that his jumping is higher than pre-injury for that Achilles. And just quietly, his mum is in the house tonight from Germany. She's live to see him play for the very first time in Australia. The NBL is officially global, gents.
It certainly is. Lovely to have Ariel's mum in the house tonight, along with 10,500 others.
And Hook-Porty was actually in consideration for the German national team prior to that, to the tournament. Look at the aggressive. I love the way he's just attacking the boards and saying, hey, I'm not going to get many touches down low and you're not going to throw it to me. I'll go get my own.
Well.
Hello, Mark Recchi, who had to do a bit of that as well.
Just a tad.
They're all opportunities, Liam.
Go get it, big fella.
That's what you got to do.
Not many on Lindsay's whiteboard were drawn up for Mark Radke, unfortunately.
We talk about Hook Porty. So Tyler Cook checks out now with those 2 fouls. And the DP Rosetto comes back in. So a big couple of minutes perhaps here for Hook Porty if Melbourne can go at him.
Phoenix haven't scored in this quarter so far. It's been going the best part of 3 minutes. The Creek to the other end. Flynn Cameron just did enough, and then Kenyon stepped out of bounds. For those who haven't seen a lot of Flynn Cameron, we mentioned the heritage, 5 years at UC Riverside, has carved out a reputation as just being a really tough player at both ends of the floor.
And a high IQ player. You saw it on that possession right there. Didn't try to do anything silly. Didn't try to block that shot or swipe at it in any kind of way, despite the fact it's Mitch Creek, who is a steam train in transition when he gets out there. So he makes good decisions, shot 40%, 42% from 3 as a senior at UC Riverside, and a guy Melbourne United are excited to have.
Nice look in the corner for Dellavedova. Not that time. Flynn Cameron with the offensive rebound.
Well, there's an example of the poise. Gets the boards, just reads the situation, gets the defender in the air. Have a look at that combination. There is 2 starters in arguably the greatest team ever put together.
And 9, Drewy, of the NBA championship rings in the house this evening, just quietly.
9 between those.
9 of the 11 NBA championship rings. Jack, 11. So 9 between the 2 of those.
Yep.
Ian Clark, and do you know the other?
There's an asterisk next to that other.
None of
There is an asterisk.
No such thing as an
I
asterisk.
know my role, and there is a significant asterisk.
A ring is a ring.
Well, that's true.
And you're wearing it right now.
No, I'm not. No, it is fantastic. I see Luke Longley and Scotty Pippen together again.
He'll be with us in commentary next quarter. Will Cummings starting to get his game going now, up to 7 points.
And that last possession is an example of where Hook Porty needs to just tighten up a little. You got Rosetto, just back him down, put him under the rim, and rise up over the top. Tries to get to the float game, and that's not his strength.
Back down to Hook Porty. Nice looking jump shot from the mid-range.
It is. That looked comfortable. And if he starts to make more of those, they're going to have to do a better job of stopping that getting in there, because that was pretty simple.
Tanner Krebs has got Flynn Cameron running the floor. Mitch Creek has been called for a block, so South East Melbourne continue to rack up the foul count. This time Krebs will be on the free throw line.
It's just his first personal Mitch Creek. No issues for him in that regard, and he goes out for a rest. Rob Lowe comes in for Hook Porty.
Tanner Krebs' first season at Melbourne United, joins on a 3-year deal. Spent 3 years prior with the Brisbane Bullets.
Savvy pickup for mine, Drewy, Tanner Krebs.
Yes, it was one where just not sure where he was going with his career and how a role might look, and with a fresh start, and we know he can shoot the ball. And just finding the right role for him is going to be important. He's one of those guys that's certainly talented enough to play at this level, but needs to have, I think, the right role for him.
It's the voice of Andrew Gaze in commentary alongside Liam Santamaria, Nerily Meadows and Ryan Brockhoff courtside for Throwdown 21 to start the NBL 24 season as Matt Kenyon travels.
And this is where I look at this Phoenix group that's out there on the floor right now. When they go to this reserve group, timeout called here by Dean Vickerman, you start to think, well, where's the scoring going to come from? It all really needs to go through Will Cummings.
Well, that's right. And how you create those opportunities, just throwing him the ball and say, go do your thing. That's where it comes down to your team concepts about how we're going to create shots for him and put him in the right position.
This timeout brought to you by Snooze. Let's get over to Nerily Meadows.
got a boss of the whole operation, Jack. Larry Kesselman joining me courtside. Larry, what an occasion. 10,000 in the house. It was sold out 9 days ahead of Throwdown 21. You must be super pleased.
I'm absolutely over the moon. This is incredible. I couldn't have expected anything better. Everyone should be proud. Australia should be proud to have a league like this. A product like this on our doorstep is just incredible.
And there's legends everywhere you look, whether it's a Luke Longley, a homegrown legend, or his former Chicago Bulls teammate, 6-time NBA champion, if you don't mind. You're really bringing the big guns to this operation.
Absolutely, and it's also LaMarcus Aldridge is here, Havana Brown, all the superstars, even a legend of street basketball, the Professor, is in the house. So the crowd is incredible. Be proud, Australia. NBL has arrived. It's unbelievable.
There's a little bit of talk about perhaps it's gotten so big we could move it from John Cain Arena to a Rod Laver Arena. Is that the big dream?
The big dream is to fill up every arena in Australia. Crowds are sold out. The next game's already pretty much sold out. So basketball is back in the middle of all this, in the middle of AFL final season. So good.
It's an incredible atmosphere. And before I let you go, Larry, I've got to say on behalf of the entire team, happy birthday. I believe it's your birthday tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Big day. So this is the best present I could have.
Enjoy it. Thanks for your time.
Larry Kesselman, the man who has built this league into a powerhouse on a global scale. Travers off the glass. It's not a bad way to spend your birthday, the season opener, Liam.
No, sold out. And on AFL and NRL Grand Final week just quietly as well. The NBL making a splash to open its season.
Follow with the offensive rebound. The Phoenix are at a really, really important point of this game right now. With 4.5 minutes before half-time, they trail by 8. And just right in front of us, Shea Ili, a little slow to get up.
He looks okay. Shea Ili, fellas, I mentioned the 11 NBA championship rings in the building. Make it 12. Shout out Ben Fitz on X. Great reminder. How could we forget Matthew Dellavedova?
Yes. Excuse me.
The great man himself, Drew.
Excuse me.
Excuse-moi.
My
He's
goodness.
the game-leading scorer.
And what a role he did play as well. Playing alongside the great LeBron James with the Cleveland Cavaliers. We need to give ourselves a bit of a slap.
No, a little bit of one behind the ears, I would have thought.
Flynn Cameron on debut tonight for Melbourne United. 36-28. Melbourne coming off winning the NBL Blitz, the Bruton Loggins Cup. Beat Brisbane, Illawarra, and did a real number on Sydney on the Wednesday of the Blitz, Liam. They had 2 30-point quarters at the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre, and they just looked like they had so many offensive weapons at their disposal.
Yeah, and look, you know, I never want to read too much into the preseason at any point, but, you know, it's a team that we expect is going to be really good this year, and they came out and played like we thought we're going to see a lot of, getting it done at the defensive end and then running out, letting their talent get on display offensively.
Cook can't tip it in.
Speaking of scoring, I think they've got to try and make a little bit more of a target out of Cook as well. Outside of the pick and roll, that's a beautiful pass. And another one, if you don't mind. Travers started it off, but the cohesion and the teamwork was on show right there.
They are firing on all cylinders right now, Melbourne United. The Phoenix have only scored 4 points in quarter number 2 and have got a significant problem right now. Shea Ili pushes the tempo. Cameron out for Lowe. It's nothing but fresh Melbourne air.
And this is the passing we talk about, the little slot cut there, and then the recognition of where the help's coming from, and that puts a lot of pressure on your defense. Players, again, not in terrible positions, but they're a little bit more ball pressure to start, to stop that first one. And then if it's not there with slick passes like that, you're playing catch-up. Melbourne United, good job to turn really good looks into great looks.
Saw it all in the Harvey Norman replay. Chris Golding just checked out of the game, still yet to score. It certainly hasn't stopped Melbourne. Moller with 2 on the clock. Everything just looks difficult at the moment for the Phoenix.
It is. It's hard work. And Kyle Bowen, the youngster, under the COE and St Mary's, really held up on that possession. There's 2 of their youngsters combining here, Bowen and Cameron. Bowen had that matchup on Mitch Creek, and the Phoenix went right at him, and he held his ground.
Tyler Cook once again gets on the free throw line.
Absolutely everything's contested for Phoenix. Nothing is easy, and give a lot of credit for Melbourne United, what we've seen on the defensive end. Both these teams slowing up a lot. Melbourne United had 29 in the first quarter and only had 9 so far in this one. So the Phoenix would be content with their defensive adjustments, but Liam, they've only got 4 points.
It's not enough, Drew.
4 is not enough. Make that 5.
There's 5.
Watch out.
Yeah, no, it's been a rough term. Like a lot in the mid-range, a lot with the floater. Not enough open looks from long range, and not enough finishing at the cup.
To me, well, there's a lucky play, but right now, I'd be going a heavy dive at Mitch Creek. Get him in there, elbow catches, rips to the rim, maybe posting up.
Oh no.
Good night, Craig Moller. Dellavedova glides to the basket.
We can't call that. That's just a fall over. That's...
Oh, come on, Drewy. Come on, Drewy. He's giving him the in and out dribble.
Oh, I don't think it was a much.
And he didn't just put him on his heels, big fella. He put him on his rear end.
I hear you, but I'm not sure that's typical ankle breaker.
A minute 45 before halftime. The Phoenix are just hanging in right now. They trail by 9.
That's a charge.
Oh. He got lucky there, Tyler Cook. That would have been a 3rd personal just before half-time. Here's Daly. Come on, Drewy. Credit where it's due to the Aussie basketball legend.
Well, Craig Moller, if he did get shaken out by that, Craig Moller needs to just get back into the old 45 one-on-one drills a little bit more on the defensive end, because there wasn't a whole lot in it. Sometimes you just fall over.
Sometimes you just fall over?
Sometimes you just fall over. But nice move by Daly, and again, the aggressive nature of what we see from Daly on the offensive end.
I like this coach's challenge, Jack, called by Dean Vickerman.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to gain from this. You know, you look at the play and you think, nah, we should get the whistle here. That should have been an offensive foul. Because Rob Lowe was called for the blocking foul, but there's a very strong hint, Drewy, some would say maybe even a stench of an offensive foul in this one.
Well, you heard me when it happened. It looked offensive to me on the first take, and don't think Dean Vickerman hasn't done that made this challenge without looking at his assistant, who's gone through the review on the laptop and said the reward for this, I think, warrants the gamble. And I think it's going to be unsuccessful.
Just on this replay, you watch it from the baseline angle, just a little lean across to the right. Not a lot. Not a lot. What?
It was worth a look.
I still think they're a little unlucky there, Melbourne United.
The ruling from Vaughan Mabry, the senior official, out there tonight with Nico Fernandez and Ken Widget on debut here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Well, talk us through it, Jack, because the ruling is made not by these officials, isn't it? It's made in the hub, is that correct?
Goes back to our hub, Scott Butler,
that's right,
the senior official, the man in charge, and his team take a look at things back at the hub.
It would have been a bit of a turning point if it had have been successful. A 3rd foul on Tyler Cook. He did play through foul trouble in one of his big games at the Blitz. He was on 4 fouls for basically the entire second half, and continued to have a massive impact. Dean Vickerman searches for answers through us, Drewy, and I'm not sure we have them for it.
Yeah, it's always a tough one. And didn't go his way. Let's leave it at that.
Well, he looked at Andrew Gaze and said, I'm assuming we lost him. Drew, he said, you don't happen to have the Wi-Fi password, do you, Dino? Still having a few computer issues here.
That's it.
Tyler Cook comes out. There's Scottie Pippen. 6-time NBA champion, 7-time NBA All-Star. Will be with us in commentary in quarter number 3. I'll ask the first one and then just get out of the way, and him and Drewy can just go for it.
Oh, no.
Travers lost the ball, but he's bailed out. Late foul on Tarangi.
Okay, that was off the ball. That was Mitch Creek that was guarding the ball. The whistle comes from elsewhere.
Check. Keep counting hard, keep counting hard. Easy, fellas, easy.
Early from the baseline. Extra pass for Travers.
Ooh, stand here.
And the foul's on Cummings.
That's the relentless attack on the loose ball from Shayili. Cummings doesn't feel like he did much wrong.
And although he missed it, that just catch and shoot, no hesitation by Travers. That's what we saw more last season.
He's a popular player with Supercoach Luke Travers this year. He's in 47% of all teams. Golding, nice touch. His first bucket of the night.
Well, he's a safe bet, because even when the scoring's not there, you know he's going to be on the glass and making the pass.
Phoenix are stone cold in this second term, I should say. Golding from a mile away. Rolls out of bounds.
Yeah, it's just been a 9-point quarter for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. It's 13 for Melbourne United, so it's been a dour second term. But a chance here just to finish it on a little bit of a high. Go in with just the margin at single digits, something to feel good about.
Oh, tried to drag that thing out. He thought he was fouled. Dellavedova sets sail. 17 at the half for Delhi. Melbourne United back out by double figures. And they take a really healthy lead into the main break. The opening half of Throwdown 21 has belonged to Melbourne United. They lead 45-33.
Well, not just Melbourne United, but Matthew Dellavedova in particular. 17 points in the opening half. 7 of 13 from the field. He's 3 of 4 from long range. He really has been the story of this first half as Melbourne United have stepped their authority on the game.
And the defense has been an issue, has been really good for Melbourne United, holding the Phoenix 1 of 9 from the three-point line.
Let's get over to Nerily Meadows with the star of the first half.
Got the man of the moment, Matthew Dellavedova, putting on a show. 17 points. You have really worked on that offensive part of your game heading into tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we got such a deep team. There's a lot of room to operate on the floor. We got a lot of shooters out there, so good defensive half to keep them to 33 so far.
For you personally, taking in that mindset to really take it on and attack the basket, how have you changed that yourself?
I mean, it's mindset, but it's a lot of work. I worked with Paul McCoy, my college teammate, all summer and worked really hard on him.
Enjoying this atmosphere?
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Wonderful performance from Matthew Dellavedova, helping Melbourne United create a 20-point turnaround. It was Phoenix up by 8 early in that first quarter, but at the halftime break, it's Melbourne United up by 12. Throwdown 21, second half action, not far away.
The first stint was a lot of fun, great group of boys and one of my most enjoyable seasons. You know, it was challenging on the court, didn't play as well as I wanted to, but it was a lot of fun.
Oh, Delhi again. Delhi looks to pull again from outside, gets that one to fall.
The mindset is to help United win a championship. The club has high standards and just recruits great people that want to win, and that's part of what makes it so fun to be a part of. And personally, just feel like the body's in a good place, and I feel like I can still improve, and I'm getting more athletic and adding parts to my game. Looking at the journey the last couple of years, the thing I take from it is that I can still get better, and that's, I think, the fun thing as an athlete, that you're always trying to improve and get better. And when you're a part of a team, it's how can I help the team win, and if you can play your role or do things that you see the team needs, that will take you pretty far. I don't ever really need any extra fuel. I've always been competitive in pretty much every aspect. It's probably the reason why not as many board games with the family anymore, because you know, sometimes it's just not worth it. But you know, when you have kids, I think it makes it easier to switch off. It hasn't changed, you know, how bad you want to win or how you prepare. It just puts things into perspective. I think the league has continued to get better, and you need to have a deep roster of guys that on any given night can be their night. So it's been a lot of fun so far, and I think the more we play together, the better it's going to be.
Fantastic insights there from one of the stars of the game, Matthew Dellavedova, helping Melbourne United to a 12-point halftime lead up against their arch rivals in the Phoenix. 17 points to halftime. Ryan Brockhoff, Andrew Gaze alongside me. Rowdy, if I'd said to you that Matthew Dellavedova had 17 points in a half of basketball, what would you have said?
Look, in years past, I'd probably be surprised, but his ball from the blitz has carried over. He's playing aggressively, he's shooting the ball well, and he's really lifted Melbourne United in the first half.
You've known him for 20 years. This is a whole new game for him. So the highlights that you saw in the first half, Andrew Gaze, what stood out about Delhi?
Well, I think it's just his aggressive nature. He was taking some shots that we normally wouldn't see him take, and the confidence that he has on the offensive end. We know that he's an elite defender, and we know that he can distribute the ball. And yeah, he could be a streaky shooter from time to time, but tonight he's coming out there like he's Steph Curry. He's looking for his shot, getting to the rim, and it's been an impressive display.
You can see there his statistics, 17 points, 4 rebounds, a couple of assists as well thrown in there. Matthew Dellavedova is on fire tonight. The Phoenix, they need others to stand up. Tyler Cook was really impressive early, 6 points in the first 6 minutes, but he's got just the 9 to half time. So Tyler Cook, he needs to lift back up again.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. He's been able to get to the free throw line and keep himself ticking, but they just need more offense down there. Creek's been slow in the first half. Will Cummings hasn't been making his shots, so hopefully they can pick it up in the second half.
He's a special player when he's going, though, isn't he?
He is, but I think we've got to give a lot of credit to Melbourne United and what they've done on the defensive end. Only 1 of 9 shooting for Phoenix, and they've made it difficult. When they get in there, it's been a crowd. There's another example of it where it's a little controversial, whether it's a block or charge, but on all these drives, you can see a defensive crowd. And when you're not knocking down the perimeter shot and you can pack it in like that, it does make it very difficult on the offensive end.
So you know Phoenix really well. We know they've had a lot of changes to the roster. The coach has changed as well. But what would be the messaging right now at halftime to make sure that they fight back into this one?
I think the first half was good for them just to sort of see the mistakes that they've made. They haven't had any continuity during the pre-season. You're seeing a lot of switches being mixed up, the lack of communication. So it'll all be about the defensive end. The offensive end will take care of itself, fix up the problems of the defensive end.
They were up by as much as 8 points too, so they've got the cattle to get back into this game. It's been a 20-point turnaround. Don't go anywhere though, because Chris Golding, he needs to fire, he needs to live. But one man is going to lift the whole broadcast is that man. Scottie Pippen is going to be joining our commentary team live in the third quarter. This is going to be a whole heap of fun.
Tough time at John Cain Arena. The South East Melbourne Phoenix have got some work to do in the second half. They trail 33-45. Melbourne United, a super impressive first half performance. They are looking to get back to playing finals basketball once again. And Andrew Gaze, if they've started the way that they have, Melbourne United, and continue on this way, then they're going to prove a lot of people right that they are one of the teams to beat this year.
Oh, I don't think, regardless of what happens here, it's not going to change people's views, because it's a very talented lineup, and the way in which they were able to just crank it up on the defensive end to hold this Phoenix team to only 9 points. And sure, they only had the 16 themselves, but they've been impressive, and there's still more to come. And let's be honest, both these teams have still got more to come, but when you think of Clark and Joe Luala-Chul, it's frightening what talent this Melbourne United team is going to be able to put on the floor.
Let's get over to Nerily Meadows.
Just listening in to Dean Vickerman having that last word to his troops ahead of this second half. He said, no let up for 1 second. You let up and Creaky is going to come. No let up, stay aggressive, take those three. So Dean Vickerman calling for his men to be absolutely ruthless, up by 12.
This Golding scores inside the first 13 seconds.
Well, he's 1 of 6 in the first half, and that's designed. Dean Vickerman would have looked at the stat sheet and said, I got to get one of my main men going. There's a foul. And they design a play early on for Chris Golding. They come out and try to close him out, and he's able to get to the rim for a relatively easy one for him. And you heard Dean Vickerman down in the background, and that's just him continually challenging his own players. He is just wants this relentless defense, and it's constantly being reinforced. Ben Air missed ones he normally shouldn't. I think in the NBL 1 season he was 90% from the three-point line, from the free throw line, playing with the Sandringham Sabres, so he's a very good free throw shooter.
Had to knock down the second because the Burgers are back this year. You can download the NBL app, your code word will be there.
The Whoppers?
Yes, sir.
Oh, please miss some free throws. We love the Whoppers.
Courtesy of Jack Cowan and the wonderful people at Hungry Jack's. Luke Porty puts his foot on the baseline. Let's get courtside, Ryan Brockhoff.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Look, Mike Kelly was pretty reserved during the start of the third quarter. He wants to ramp up the pressure defensively, so I expect some sort of trap, some sort of increased pressure up the court. And offensively, he said, this is our first game. We're going to make mistakes. Let's go through our sets. Let's find some good shots. Let's play free and with confidence.
Well, he's been spot on. He's got the desired result down this end of the floor. Down the other end of the floor. They have been okay outside of that little first up hiccup they had with Chris Golding getting to the rim. But they are extending the defense, picking them up. And you do the good work on the defensive end. You've got to box out, keep them off the glass.
Ariel Hook-Porty helps himself now to his 5th point to go with 5 rebounds, make that 8 rebounds, I should say, from the early part of this game. And Mike Kelly, the new South East Melbourne Phoenix coach, has got some work to do, but we are absolutely delighted to welcome basketball royalty here to the Hungry Jacks NBL to opening night. We speak, of course, of one of the greatest ever, 6-time NBA champion, Scottie Pippen. Scottie, great to have you here on opening night. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Scottie, this the talent level out on this floor, we've been hearing it a lot, but we're obviously biased because we love it. But as a neutral coming in, what have you made of the first half?
It's been great. I mean, neither team has shot the ball well the first half, but they're competing, and that's what you like to see. They're playing well together as a team, and I know that they can play better basketball than what they're putting on right now.
And Golding through the lob up to Travis.
Well, Luke Travis is the one, Scottie. I don't know if you know a lot about him, but a draft pick with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's been a young player emerging. What do you like about him?
I like his size. I like his ability to be able to handle the ball out front. Reminds me a lot of a Dirk Nowitzki type of player.
Hang on. Gee.
Not quite the shooter that Dirk was, but I like his ability to be able to play out on top of the floor.
I think he'd be pretty happy with that comparison, Luke Travis, wouldn't he?
No doubt.
So, Scotty, you got in yesterday, was it, in Sydney?
No, I got in this morning, actually. So I've been going all day, but it's been a lot of fun.
Well, it is, and we saw you alongside your teammate Luke Longley. Now, I know you're buddies from back in the day, but
yes.
It's been a while since you've caught up with Luke?
Actually, we talk a lot. We do a lot of FaceTiming, but yeah, it's been about 10 years since we've seen each other kind of face-to-face, but we are definitely on the phone FaceTiming.
Well, one of the things we see in this game, Matthew Dellavedova, you would have seen him when he was with Cleveland in particular, that feisty defender. And I was saying during the call, full compliment to him because his offensive game's really advanced.
Well, I think, as you know, as we get older, our offense tend to get a little bit better, and that's what we're seeing out of Delly. Like, he's definitely offensive-minded, a lot more than when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Shea Hilly puts the ball on the floor. Tipped in by Travers. Big problems now for the Phoenix.
Huge.
53-38, 6.5 minutes remaining in this third term. It's starting to get nasty for them.
Well, it is, Scotty, and you get these moments, first game of the season, there's a lot of nerves out there, but with the Phoenix, from what you've seen of them, you get in these situations, time out here, where do you see their game and how they can get themselves back into it?
Well, I just feel right now that it's slipping away from them. I felt like it was doing that early in the first half, but they was able to maintain and stay in the game. But they're going to have to fight because right now the game is starting to slip away from them a little bit. I think offensively they have to be a little bit better. And
while we're in this timeout break, we focus back on to just your extraordinary career. Now, you know, we're not telling you anything you don't know, but you have brought so much joy with what you were able to do with the Bulls and your play. Coming out here, seeing the adulation from the Australian fans, it's congratulations to you, and just talk us through what it means to when you travel the globe and the respect that you have.
Well, it's been amazing. You know, I had an opportunity to play international basketball for a couple years as well, but my years with the Bulls are having those opportunities to play and to have the game grow as much as it did in the 90s was just great for me as a player because I felt like I was a part of the trailblazing of making basketball more of an international sport.
And tell us about your relationship with Luke on the floor. What was it like playing with the big fella? He didn't get always deal with the accolades, had to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Oh, Luke was great. You know, he did a great job for us for shutting down the paint from a defensive standpoint, but offensively, he was great. He was the guy that gave us the spacing that we needed so me and Michael could slash through the basket. So I enjoyed playing with Luke, one of my greatest teammates.
Certainly.
There is a former Chicago Bull, Tyler Cook, out there tonight. So, Scotty, there's 1,000 things that we'd love to ask you. One thing that I would love to know as a youngster growing up, watching that 92 Olympics team, and it may very well be the best basketball team that will ever be assembled in any level, in any format. What was that like?
It was amazing. You know, a lot of those guys on that team were guys that I idolized as a player growing up too. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. So to have the opportunity to join hands with those guys and be a part of the first NBA Olympic team was very special for me, being one of the younger players on that team.
And a lot of, I want to know from you, was it a bit of a myth when they talked about that before the Barcelona games? You had that practice session where it's a war and Magic and Michael, everyone going at it, regarded as one of the greatest practice sessions, games, whatever you want to call it. Is that a bit of a myth, or do you concur with that?
I concur with it because, you know, those players were very competitive. You look over at Magic's career, the amount of championships that he won, the amount of championships that Larry Bird had won, and those guys have kind of moved out of the way. So when we did get everybody on the practice floor, it gave those guys a chance to sort of get back at us a little bit because they definitely wanted that opportunity to compete against us, even though they were older in their career.
Well, it's you're watching this game here, and I think the physicality, the thing that a lot of people come and they see that it's international basketball. It is really physical. Going back to your time, and we go back and watch some of the vision with what you and Michael had to do, and they say that you might have averaged 40 and he might have averaged 70 the way the game's officiated these days.
Wow.
Do you think it's changed and it may have overcompensated a little bit?
I think it's changed tremendously. I mean, I think that the game is much more wide open. The physical contact that we endured early on in our careers, the game today is nothing like that. But
Travis for an easy two.
I will say this, that these players are physically ready to play basketball at any level, and they can play a physical game or not. But I think the officiating has changed a lot in the game. I think the players still bring the same type of physicality.
Oh, my goodness.
Deli is feeling it tonight.
He's Steph Curry range from the Bunnings sign.
55-38 at John Cain Arena. Opening night of the NBL 24 season. Thin air draws a foul and has a bit to say about it as well. Still having a bit to say.
Well, he's chirpy. That's just in his DNA. And we see just the attack on the rim now. And three-point line attack on the rim. Three-point line attack on the rim. You, Michael, I mean, some of the shots you guys take, coaches wouldn't let you take anymore. The mid-range, it's really changed the game a lot.
Drew, I would love to play in today's game. I enjoy watching players shoot the basketball, but more so, I like the spacing that we see on the court. When I played in the game, it was more throw it into the post and play off of the post pass. And today's game is more played out on the perimeter, a lot more pick and rolls in transitions, and it speeds the game up, and you have to make adjustments throughout the game.
Well, we talk about styles of play, and throughout your time with Phil Jackson, the triangle offense, it's structured, and it can be perceived to be pretty restrictive sometimes. But when you got 7 rings and you're clinking all over the place because of all the hardware you've got, I'd imagine you're still pretty much a fan of that type of play.
I am definitely a fan of the triangle. I still feel that there's a place for that offense in today's game.
Nice.
Even though there's no teams that run it,
nope.
I still think that there's a place for it.
Dellavedova can't score. Tanner Krebs in the corner left open. That's off the front. So how long are you here for, Scotty, and what else is on the agenda for you?
I'm here for at least 3-4 more days, and I'm going to be just going around the city. I'm going to check out the AFL game tomorrow.
The grand final?
Yeah.
The day after tomorrow, but we get what your time zone.
Saturday. Yeah, my time zone
Catching up.
kind of messed up, but I'm just looking forward to hanging out and seeing the city, to be honest. It's my first time here, so I'm going to enjoy it.
Have you ever been to an AFL game before?
No, never. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm still trying to visualize how I'm going to understand the game, but I think I'll figure it out.
And getting back to your relationship with the big fella, what was he? We know him as this lovable guy that's very laid back and, goes about his business in a very elite way, professional way, but sometimes, and we've seen and heard you guys talk about it, you need a bit of a prod every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, Luke was one of those guys, got the greatest personality on and off the court, but he changed a bit when he came to play with us. I mean, winning one championship, he got a little more tougher, a little more arrogant, and we needed more out of him. But, you go back and look at Luke's career, he battled some of the best centers to ever play the game. I mean, from Kareem, Hakeem, David Robinson, Shaq, you name it, Patrick Ewing. I mean, he battled against some of the best centers that I felt like had played the game, and we were able to win 3 titles with him.
And this league here is very much considered now a pathway into the NBA. We've got You might have heard of this guy called Josh Giddey, who we love, LaMelo Ball, and Ariel Huckporty. You're seeing him out here. Next generation stars. You came through a different system, went to a small college, still found your way out. But if you were giving advice at the international game as a pathway, are you supportive of that, or are you still a fan of the college route?
No, I support the international game. I support that these players are getting out, playing on the 24-second shot clock, playing under duress, playing where the game is even more physical, but even the fan base is different than a college, you know, so this is really giving them that experience that's going to take them to the next level. And you're right, this is the gateway into the NBA.
Love it, Scotty. You love everything you're saying because it's easy for us because, you know, we see it day in and day out, and you can get a little complacency, but when we get fresh eyes like you and you see the talent that we have, it really means a lot to us as Australians and supporters of our league. So,
well, I think you guys, when you speak basketball, when you talk about Australian basketball, you're speaking the truth. I mean, we've seen LaMelo Ball come over here, had a great season, and it set him up to be drafted very high in the NBA, and he's having a very successful NBA career as well.
And Scotty, we've got a little promotion here in the NBL. If the away team misses 2 free throws, as Golding tees it up, if the away team misses 2 free throws, then it's burgers for the home fans. So
okay.
You can click on the Hungry Jack's banner and enter the code word. Head to your nearest Hungry Jack's store before 6 o'clock tomorrow. Do you think we could get Scotty a burger?
I will give him a pass because I think they've already they've missed a couple, haven't they? Just missed a couple. So
were you here when that happened?
I just saw that, and we'll get Scotty a pass for a nice whopper.
Yeah.
Tuck into that for some evening delight.
Tanner Krebs continues on for Melbourne. 58-44. Dominant performance first up for Melbourne United in Throwdown 21. Scotty, do any of the champions, is there one championship that means more than others for any other reason?
I would say my first one winning, I think is more so because of playing against the Lakers, being that, you know, that was probably one of my favorite teams growing up as a kid, and now you get to play against them in your first NBA Finals, and you're playing against Magic and Worthy. It was almost like a storybook finals for me, to be honest.
Lowe kicks it out for Tanner Krebs. It's good. Playing a nice cameo off the bench in the third quarter.
He certainly is, and he's going to settle in nicely. Like we mentioned, it's about for him developing the right role, and when you're surrounded by great players and the floor opens up. Now we see him knocking down the three, and that's really going to be his role. The penetrate, help out, dish, knock down the 3 ball. And sometimes, Scotty, with certain players, you just they got to understand you've got to play a role. They're not all Scottie Pippins and Michael Jordans out there. And I guess at the NBA, where they're all superstars, you would have been challenged all the time of trying to get players to buy into their role, like Luke.
I mean, that's at every level. Guys have to play their role, whether they're the 5th man or the 12th man. There's a role to be played.
Well, speaking of players that you played with, just give us an idea of what life playing with Dennis Rodman was like, please, Scotty. Please.
I got to say it was pretty damn comfortable.
Yeah, that's right.
He got every rebound that came off. He made life easy to some degree. From an offensive standpoint, he made it such an enjoyable thing to be able to just shoot the ball and have a guy that's going to go get it and bring it back and as many times as it takes for you to score. But also on the other end, his presence on the defensive end was impeccable because we were able to switch with him, his communication. You know, Dennis is, he was a guy that if you didn't really know him, you would not realize how valuable he is to a basketball team. But he shoots the ball well, he defends well, he communicates, but his greatest attribute is he's a great teammate.
Just needed a little Vegas trip every so often just to recalibrate?
You got to let him go to Vegas and shake some dice and see some girls. But, hey, part of the game.
And you know what we love about him as well? He'd go get it and get it off the glass.
Yes.
But happy to kick it back out.
I love that. I love that. That's what I said. We were in paradise when Dennis showed up.
Yeah, and the work on the defensive end, in some respects, because of all the stuff that goes along with Dennis, you probably sometimes lose a little track of just how important he was to you guys.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get caught up in watching his little antics, but Dennis' basketball IQ is off the chart.
And we can't, the connection you had with Michael, it's something that every single human being that had the privilege to be around to see that happening was something special.
Oh yeah, I mean we spent numerous amount of years together on the practice floor, in the weight room, so we built that chemistry up over time, and definitely was something that we embraced and believed that we were unbeatable.
Well, you were for a lot of it.
Yeah.
That just must be a beautiful feeling going into games, knowing, hey, these guys got no hope.
I mean, when you got great teammates, it definitely helps to boost your confidence up tremendously.
No, like I said from the start, the joy that you bring, I know you come to appreciate it, but it was something special. I feel privileged to have been around during that time, to have lived in an era where I got to see it. And what you've been able to do for here, the sport, right throughout the world, is something extraordinary. And you know what you did? And winning, of course, makes a big part of it.
Oh, yes.
You guys look like you're having fun.
Cummings makes both. Knocks that margin back to 14. It's going to need to be a big fourth quarter from the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Can they claw it back from here, Scotty, or is it too far?
I think Delhi is kind of got him tonight. He's feeling it tonight, and being an opener, guys come ready to play, and I think Delhi came tonight ready to lead this team to a victory.
There is Matthew Dellavedova, 17 points, 7 of 17 from the field, 3 of 6 from outside. And the final play of this third term. Krebs hemmed in against the baseline, can't finish. Three-quarter time, it's a 14-point lead to Melbourne United. Scotty, we're honoured to have you in the country. Thanks so much for being with us here tonight.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Does he have to go?
He does.
That is the quickest quarter of basketball I've ever experienced.
It was a great quarter because I hung out with you.
64 to 50 at three-quarter time. We are back
for
the fourth quarter. On the other side of this is Throwdown 21. Melbourne United lead on opening night here in the Hungry Jacks NBL 64-50. They continued on their merry way in quarter number 3. Contributions from Luke Travers and Tanner Krebs off the bench. Liam Santamaria, Andrew Gaze, Jack Hebron in commentary, Ryan Brockhoff and Nerily Meadows courtside. Liam, great to have you back. Just had to get you to jump out for a quarter. There was a guy who wanted to come and have a chat.
Happy to give the chair up to Scotty. Enjoyed listening to you fellas and getting his insights. And Melbourne United just doing enough in that third quarter to hold their lead, didn't they? Ben Eyre, 10 points in the quarter. He was fantastic. But a couple of knockdowns from Tanner Krebs, and Melbourne United doing enough to keep that 14-point lead.
Southeast Melbourne must get going. That'll help. Owen Foxwell for 3.
Well, they're in touch. It's hard to see when your offense has been struggling as much as it has for Phoenix and how they can turn it around. And that's a good start. But they are in touch, and if they can get it going on the offensive end, but there's the immediate answer from Travers.
14 points now for Luke Travers, 6 of 12 from the field. Nice start for him in his new colours.
Fair to say we had a bit of a distraction there in the third quarter.
Oh, I did not notice that.
I'm glad you're across all the finer details here.
I'm not sure if you saw it. There's a Harvey Norman replay. I'm not sure if you saw it on camera, Liam, but when Scotty actually used Drewy's name, he said, you know, Drewy.
Oh, yes.
I just saw the chest popped out a little bit. You were feeling pretty good about yourself.
Well,
and fair enough, too.
I just wanted to cover him the whole time, and I got as close as I could, but no, he seemed to play along nicely.
He's a fan of your work.
He's a good man, and good on him for coming out. And Luke Longley, all the work that he's done to get him out here, it's fantastic. Great promotion for our game.
Marcus Aldridge also in the crowd tonight.
Yes.
More than 10,000 people, a sellout. There are sellouts looking likely at just about every game across the weekend here in opening round. First foul on Hook Porty.
You've seen those last couple of possessions from the Phoenix. The missed floater from Will Cummings, the missed little lefty hook from Tyler Cook. Those two have combined for 6 for 23 from the field. Really, they needed to be enormous tonight.
They did.
If Southeast Melbourne were going to get up.
Spot on. And the other one is Mitch Creek. Only the 6 points, 3 of 11 from the field. He just hasn't been able to get it going.
Had a disrupted preseason, Mitch Creek. Will Cummings reaching in his whistle. Only 13 minutes in the blitz. We spoke about it in pre-game with Ryan Brockhoff, whether that was a concern. He is the ultimate professional, Mitch Creek, but 13 minutes across the preseason is 13 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he was really good in those 13 minutes, played well in that matchup, and also in advance in that matchup against Melbourne United. Had a big offseason, played in Puerto Rico, and you know, just continued to play after what was an enormous NBL season, and had some calf issues in the preseason. And he just seems maybe a little underdone as Cook goes up and sends that away.
Not tonight, Shea Illy. Cook to the other end, lost the handle. Dellavedova with his head down to the basket. Illy can reset. Hook Porty travels. Also couldn't help but notice the frequent sort of touching of the bicep of Andrew Gaze, just leaning into Scottie Pippen and just...
Like I said, I wanted to cuddle him. I really did just wanted to give him a big cuddle the whole time. And I spent some time with him many years ago when we were there for FIBA. Him, Andre Kirilenko and myself. So I got to know him then and just got to learn how much of a great chat he is. He was a really, really friendly, good fella.
I love what he was saying there about looking back on that time during the 90s when they were winning all those 6 championships, saying how much he enjoyed growing the game around the world. Obviously, he was a part of the Dream team, and so much of that Barcelona Olympics was about doing that, but really kind of came across genuinely that he's enjoying the growth of the game that it resulted across the bloke.
Looks like he's had a lot of fun tonight as well, which is outstanding.
Oh, Luke could be looking after him. Taking him in all the nice restaurants. And see, that's not going to get it done, I don't think. Just the ISO ball, little shake and bake. Illy steps out of bounds. But if that's what you're going to rely on when you're playing catch-up, it's you just got to get hot. You're just relying on someone getting hot. Now, you need to get hot, but the way in which you create shots, I think, is just as important. And Will Cummings, 3 of 14. Now, he's a much better player than that.
Just 28% from the field tonight, Southeast Melbourne. Been able to get any sort of flow. Hook Porty blocks Craig Moller and Ben Air for 3. Mitsubishi Motors 3. We're great to have Mitsubishi back this season. We're celebrating in stadium. Foam hands, a range of prizes are up for grabs as well, including a new Mitsubishi Pajero Sport. And Liam, you wouldn't believe it. Guess who got a Mitsubishi?
A test driving.
Don't tell me.
And let me tell you.
Oh, please, Drewy.
No, this is a driving excellence.
You're a disgrace.
No, it's not a disgrace. It's a beautiful, beautiful vehicle. And Ben Air,
meanwhile,
has stepped up.
Big time.
And is getting it done.
15 second half points here.
17, sorry.
Yeah, he had two at the half. So that's in 14 minutes here since half time. He is single-handedly keeping the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix almost within touching distance.
No, this is in touch. This is certainly in touch. Now, everything's got to go right. And he's going to need a running mate along the way. But he's been the offensive spark they've needed. 6 of 8 from the field. As I mentioned, his confidence just would be sky high after his NBL 1 season with the Sandringham Sabres. 24 points a game. Didn't shoot it all that well from the three-point line. Only at 30% from there. But as you saw by that last one, he has the capacity to knock it down from deep.
Jeez, Cook has found it difficult. Melbourne have done a great job of crowding him. Just when he faces up on those elbow catches and looks to drive it, everybody just sinks in a little bit, and he's having a bit of a tough time getting by guys.
Foul will be on the Phoenix.
It's been very clever defense by Dean Vickerman and that group. They've watched him at the blitz. They know he doesn't really want to shoot that little floater, and he doesn't want to shoot the jumper. He wants to put it on the deck, drive by you, and they've been making that tough.
Well, Liam, and as an example of it, we saw Ben Air knock down that one from a metre or two beyond the three-point line, and it was pretty well contested. Dean Vickerman just went to his bench and just complained big time about what he wants on the defensive end, and that's what it's going to take. It's that relentless, every single possession being scrutinised on the defensive end and holding his players accountable no matter what the circumstances are.
Every moment matters.
It does, and this season in particular.
Scottie Pippen headed to the AFL Grand Final on Saturday. Is he a Collingwood supporter, do you think, Liam? Or?
I think he's a big Kiss fan. Really interested to get along and see Kiss.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he is.
He's really going to focus in at half time.
Or pre-game.
Oh, pre-game.
Pre-game. But I'm sure Luke will be able to explain the finer points of the game to him. Haven't met too many people that don't go along to an AFL game and that aren't super impressed with the athleticism. As we see even now, free throws becoming an issue. Not a lot of them for Melbourne United. Only 7, they're 7 of 9, but 7 of 24 for Phoenix. So they've had no problems, Liam, getting to the free throw line. That's the 29% field goal percentage that's really hurt them.
Yeah, and really it's been the three-point shooting most of all. You know, Melbourne have hit 11 triples at nearly 40%. With Delhi hitting 3, Tanner Krebs hitting a couple, and a whole bunch of guys hitting from long range, whereas the Phoenix, they were just 2 of 12 from 3 at three-quarter time, and it's improved to 4 of 15 since then.
Melbourne have won 3 of their last 5 against Southeast Melbourne. Rob Lowe turns the corner. Are we on the free throw line? 6 of the top 15 players in this week's News Corp
The whole play.
rankings, Liam, the best players in the competition. You can check it out. Joluwala Chul, Matthew Dellavedova, Chris Golding, Shaili, Luke Travers, and Ian Clark, who's not playing tonight with a hamstring injury. All inside the top 15 of that list that went out this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, very subjective, of course. So hard to do in advance of the start of the season, but they're talented. I mean, they're stacked, really, this Melbourne team. And then the other thing to keep in mind is they've only got one import on the roster. Now, you got some marquees, so you're going to have to do some moving and shaking. But if somebody goes down at some point, they will have that lever to pull if they need to add somebody to the roster at a high level.
A really, really good point. Dellavedova charges up the court, 17 points. Travers was stripped. Nice hands by Cummings. And an offensive foul.
This has been a tough night at the office for Cummings. He's got the 12-point. That's going to be his 4th foul. And 0 of 5 from threes. For Cummings is the biggest issue, and always a tough start to play Melbourne United with what they're doing on the defensive end.
There's Tommy Little in the crowd tonight. Comedian Dave Thornton there too.
Thornton chopping it up with the professor.
The professor.
And one.
Guru.
Legend.
There's a doco on all that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a word to look at. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Still haven't got that Wi-Fi password.
No. Travers strong around the basket. And it's a nice touch. Quietly gone about his business as well, Liam. 16 points.
Craig Moller with his second 3 of the night.
He's got the 5 rebounds, Luke Travers, a steal, a block. His usual type of production, but he's been knocking down some shots as well along the way.
Cummings knocks that ball away from Travers. And we tick down to 3.5 minutes remaining. Melbourne United absolutely in the box seat to start the season with a win. Take from Will Cummings.
Have to work hard for it. Driving past Dellavedova. And it's real last roll of the dice sort of time here for the Phoenix. Got to get some stops and some scores in quick succession here to make something of these last 3 minutes.
Well, you're right, and Melbourne United just need to pay attention. Clearly it's to their advantage. But this one's far from over.
Oh, and that's a 5th personal here on Will Cummings. And he was trying to block out Luke Travers. He feels really, really hard done by.
Phoenix bench might just be having a little look at this and wondering whether they should challenge. And they will.
Why not?
Coach's challenge, which will hinge on whether Will Cummings remains in this game. It's 74-64, 3 minutes remaining. (74-64). 3:06 left on the 3:06 left on the clock. They're challenging the blocking foul. Southeast Melbourne.
It was on the rebounding contest. Travers was coming in for the board. Here you see the shot from low, and Cummings doing everything he can to block out. And just with that left arm,
he's unlucky.
A little bit of a wraparound.
You know, he holds him. See the left arm?
He grabbed him.
He grabbed him. Now, that's a foul. So they're not going to be able to overturn this, but he just got pushed out.
Bridges challenge is unsuccessful. Ball on the floor stands. 2 shots to
Jake. Welcome back to John Cain Arena, 74-64. 3 minutes remaining. Coach's challenge from South East Melbourne was unsuccessful, Liam. So Will Cummings on debut tonight for the South East Melbourne Phoenix is fouled out with 14 points.
Yeah, it was worth having a look at when you know, for his fifth foul, and it was close. He wrapped his left arm around Luke Travers, so it was the correct call.
Well, it was the correct call, but I think if the officials looked at that themselves and went back on it, that perhaps they, you know, they might have been one they could have not been a whistle. If any, you know, the push in the back there, it's one of those ones, well, they've both had a bit of a crack at it, maybe in hindsight, but technically it's the correct call.
Yeah, just that initial holding action right there, that left arm.
He's got a fair shove in the back.
So he's fouled out.
Let's get over to Ryan Brockhoff, courtside.
Yeah, Phoenix are really positive in that timeout. 1 possession at a time was a message. Box out. They've had a small lineup. They were switching, keeping Melbourne to 1 possession on the defensive end. Finish with the box out, and let's run and gun. Let's see how they do.
Yeah, well, they've got to run and gun, have some fun at the offensive end, but it is going to come down to those stops. If you're going to exchange buckets from this point on, then you're taking an opening night L.
Cook has been able to negotiate a couple of early fouls. His influence has certainly been quelled since quarter time.
He just hasn't had to touch. That lefty little hook shot is his go-to move, and he just hasn't had to touch tonight. 3 of 12 from the field.
Well, not many have. 30% from the field.
Travers aggressive to the basket. Tyler Cook went up and met him.
Well, it is, and neither team's really lit it up, and it's been the 3-point shooting of Melbourne United that's helped them along the way. 38% from the 3-point line, but they're only 34% overall. Aggressive take by Travers at the rim.
I'm excited for what kind of season Travers is going to have. Big move for the kid. 22. You know, he's born and raised in Perth, played for Rockingham, and then 4 years at the Wildcats, gets drafted, and you know, he could have just stayed there, comfortable, around mum and dad and the family and all the friends that he grew up with, but he's decided, you know what, I've got to get out of my comfort zone.
And
I've got to go somewhere different and take my game to the next level.
And it's what makes it tough. You're leaving an elite program. John really, with all his experience and the guidance that he was providing him, and saying that there are other reasons beyond just the program why he has moved. And I know the Red Army would be really disappointed in the decision he's made, but it's not a reflection on your program. I certainly don't see it that way.
No way.
Number 56 in the 2022 NBA draft, Luke Travers. Surroundingly unsuccessful. Golding whistled up for the foul. Of course, round 1 continues tomorrow night. Brisbane play host to Adelaide at Nissan Arena. Just about a sellout. I think I read this today. There's about 800 tickets left, which is awesome.
Wow.
And then Perth hosting Tasmania at RAC Arena. Joel Peterson, Pete Hooley, Damien Martin, Annalie Maley will be in the building. Big game, that one, for the Wildcats and the Jack Jumpers.
Foul on Ben Air. Just trying to shake loose to get open. Little bit overzealous on the shove. The official's all over it. No, it's going to be big. Alexander Sarr, man, chatting with him about what the 13,000 strong Red Army is going to be like at the Jungle. He is one guy very, very excited for their season opener.
Yeah, he looked impressive, just the size and how he uses that size as well. Yeah, the Perth Wildcats, when you think of the talent, they've done a great job of putting a roster together after, you know, season last year where they had to battle their way into the play-in game and eventually got it going. But I like what the moves that they've made in the off-season.
There's Alan Williams not playing tonight. Gorjok Gak out with an injury as well. Gary Brown was
Box it out, wait.
laid out for this one, or I should say laid out, was withdrawn yesterday due to hip soreness.
Well, after the explosion by Belvedere in that first half, he hadn't scored in the second half, and Luke Travers is putting together a really fine statistical game. 20 points.
9 boards.
There you go.
7 boards. 2 dimes, a steal, a block. 50% from the field, Drew. He's been highly influential. Just a tick under 50%.
And when you think of this Melbourne United team, and of course there's other players to come, but they're doing this with a subpar game for Chris Golding, 3 of 12. He's only got the 7 points, and you've got Clark and Luala Chul to still come in. That is a very impressive combination that they've still got to work with.
We'll travel to Adelaide to play the 36ers on Sunday. South East Melbourne will host Perth here at John Cain Arena, also on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, that'll be an interesting one. Perth coming off the Friday night game against Tasmania, always a tough one. Travel over, and this Phoenix team will be desperately looking to bounce back. And fascinated to see whether Gary Brown steps out for him. You know, they've really missed him tonight.
Well, the word was, and we spoke to Tommy Greer beforehand, that he's going to have a real solid test tomorrow, and if he comes up, he will definitely play. So looks like he will be there. And we talk about roles and wanting to be involved. Brad Newley, two-time Olympian, start with the Australian team for many years. And here he is coming on with 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining.
He's a Mitsubishi fan of the game, Frankie Spencer as well. Great to have you here tonight, Frankie.
Well done, Frankie. If you are in the market for a Mitsubishi,
speak on it.
The Outlander.
Oh no.
I mean, this thing here. I don't know what's going on in the fuel efficiency of vehicles these days. But somehow or other I filled it up a long time ago. And I looked down there, and somehow or other, there's still plenty in the tank. It's just
we'll have to take your word for it, Drew.
You're incredible. You really are.
I'm lucky. That's what I am. I am lucky. And privileged.
Brad Newley into the game. Zach Triplett, now a fully rostered player, also into the game.
Oh, no shot. White ball, one's our shooter. 15.
They were always going to be the underdogs coming into tonight, Liam, the Phoenix. But how does this performance stack up against what you're expecting?
It's a little under, I think, what I was expecting. I think what they would have liked. I thought they looked pretty good in that first quarter. You know, it was a 5-point game. But things really dried up from there. They had that 9-point second quarter. They didn't crack 20 in that third term. And those three key guys, Tyler Cook, Mitch Creek, Will Cummings, were never really able to get going offensively. Both shooting, or all three of them shooting kind of low to mid 20% on the night on a whole bunch of attempts. And you can see the disappointment there on their faces. They haven't got things off to the kind of flying start they would have hoped for such a big occasion.
No, absolutely. And I think the issue also is that offensively, you know, they've had some challenges on the defensive end, but 65 points. It is very, very difficult to win games if you're only putting 65 on the board. And a lot of credit. Keep repeating this. A lot of credit. We have seen a great defensive display by Melbourne United.
Newley for two. The 38-year-old.
He just loves the game. Wants to be a part of it. Played with Frankston in the off-season.
He did, the mighty Frankston Blues.
And I love it. You got to park your ego, just want to be involved and continue your career. What an insurance policy it is for Melbourne United to have a player like Brad Newley prepared to do this.
And at the other end of the scale, here's Newley on the Harvey Norman replay. Austin Rapp, the 17-year-old, scoring his first NBL points. Melbourne United are one of the fancies coming into NBL 24. And their showing on opening night was ultra impressive. 82-67 winners in Throwdown 21. United start 1-0.
Well, they do, and it's an impressive start. We've mentioned they've still got plenty more to give as well, but they cranked it up on the defensive end outside of that first quarter where Phoenix seemingly were able to get things going. From then on, they were blanketed, and they were able to take some very good players out of their comfort zone, and then got so many different contributors at the offensive end, and they proved that they're going to be a handful. The hype is real about Melbourne United.
Yeah, they were fantastic. It started with Dellavedova, and it ended with Luke Travis. Delly with 17 points in that first half. He was 3 of 4 from long range at halftime. He was terrific in establishing that double-digit lead in that opening half. And then Luke Travers in particular. Now, the whole group defensively for sure, but Travers with the 20 points and the full line was also fantastic. So for those two guys to come out, play at a high level, the group, as you say, Drew, make things really tough for the Phoenix. Keep them below 70 points. A whole bunch of boxes ticked for the home team in front of a massive crowd on opening night.
Sellout at John Cain Arena. There's Mitch Creek, a forlorn figure. They had a number of players unavailable tonight and unfortunately have come up well and truly short. Let's get over to Ryan Brockhoff. He's got our player of the game.
Thanks, guys. Here with Luke Travers, player of the game. Impressive performance by United. What are a few thoughts of yours tonight?
I mean, we wanted to come out and sort of make a statement, not only offensively but defensively, and to hold them below 70 is what we wanted to do. So, I mean, we just got to keep it going. A lot of room for improvement, but we're looking forward to it.
Now, the great Scottie Pippen on commentary had some big praise for you. He compared you to a young Dirk Nowitzki. How's that from the great man?
Yeah, that's not bad. I guess it's sort of for the hairstyle maybe, but yeah, not so much the post-game and stuff. But it's cool to have him out here, and it just shows how far the NBL's coming.
Yeah, and the shot's coming, mate. You had impressive performance tonight. Now time to back up for Sunday. How are the boys feeling?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously, it's the first one out the way, but yeah, we've got to take care of our bodies, get some sleep, and then go back to it.
Congratulations, mate. Good luck.
Luke Travers tonight receives our $250 gift card courtesy of Foot Locker as our player of the game. Melbourne United winners 82-67 in Throwdown 21. We're back to wrap it up on the other side of this. Pretty impressive performance first up for Melbourne United. They win 82-67 in the Hungry Jacks NBL tip-off opening night. They're going to be a very, very hard team to beat. Liam Santamaria and Andrew Gase, a lot of positives from them first up.
There certainly was, and I think that they're recognised and their talent is recognised. Just a few question marks now we see with the Phoenix, and obviously a very, very small sample size, but when they had to deal with that pressure defence, they really struggled to score. And there was weak side help, and Melbourne United, one of the elite defensive teams in the competition. They have been. That's what Dean Vickerman prides himself on, and that's why they've been so successful. But you've still got to find ways, and it's usually the thing, if you look at the method in the way in which they were dealing with that, it looked a little clunky this early stage of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Travers was the standout really in that second half. Of course, Daly initially, and then Travers. Some question marks and some concerns for the Phoenix. The three-point shooting was a worry, and the fact that, they couldn't get any of those big three of Cook, Cummings or Creek to really get going made it tough.
Tomorrow night, it's Brisbane taking on Adelaide first up, and then Perth against Tasmania in a Friday night doubleheader. That's all coming your way. Round one of the Hungry Jacks NBL. On behalf of Andrew Gaze, Liam Santamaria, Ryan Brockhoff, Nerily Meadows, and all of our team behind the scenes, thanks so much for being with us tonight. What a night it was. Scottie Pippen in the house, LaMarcus Aldridge in the house, and 10,000 plus in the house as well. We are underway for NBL 24. We'll catch you tomorrow.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.